Whoo, boy. Welcome in, everybody. I'm just going to come out and say it. I'm going to be brave tonight. I hope everyone's ready to be brave tonight. We might be a bad team. I know it takes a lot of guts to say, right? But I think we got a case of the bad teams going on. It is gloom and doom here in Atlanta for our beloved United. Worst start in franchise history, and the hits keep coming. We knew it was going to be a tough call going up against Philadelphia. They always play us hard. I believe the statistic mentioned on the broadcast was we've won 1 in the last 11 against them. This is getting dire, boys and girls. This is turning into a early land United Orlando type of relationship here, and it needs to stop. This is not good. This is not good at all. I don't know what's going on. I mean, obviously, award-winning article that was written by me recently tried to point to some answers about what's going on. Even now, though, there's so many things. There are so many issues that just a singular one, like to pick one, is just, it's folly. There's just so many things. I have so many people in my DMs and on this Discord, everyone talking all these things. Here's what's going on, here's the problem, and every one of them seems unique. There's so many things, and man, we need to get into it. It's crazy out there being an Atlanta United fan these days. I mean, theories abound. I've heard Ronnie Dyla's time is up already. It's put up or shut up. Ship him out of here if he doesn't make changes immediately. Like, it's dire, folks. Who thought? Who would have thought with the $50 million attack that we'd be sitting here talking about this early in the season? Already the wheels have apparently come off. And with that, I am going to bring in AJ, and he's going to help us diagnose. I mean, like I said, I still think one of the big main underlying issues, if not the largest, is the cultural issue, the lack thereof. These players have nothing to glom onto, nothing to connect to when they come to this club. They have their subcultures that they break out into. And when things don't go their way, fingers start pointing to different groups, different players, things get singled out. It becomes a toxic environment instead of being a positive one. So that's just one of my ideas that I think is, prescient and pretty illustrative of what's going on. But there are, like I said, there's a lot of other things to talk about. I mean, formations and tactics, that's one thing. The way we were set up tonight, that's going to be a hell of a conversation. Man, when everyone saw that starting 11, I was like, what is going on? AJ, what did you think when you saw that starting 11?
I'm not even worried about the starting 11 right now, man. Like, what has happened to our club? It is absolutely embarrassing what has happened tonight, what has happened so far in the season, 9 games in, the worst record that we've ever had, especially with, like you mentioned, how much we spent. And it's 208 minutes without a goal. And it's not the first time that we've gone over 200 minutes this season already without a goal. It's absolutely ridiculous. Players are not fighting for the badge. They're going down, injured, which, yeah, probably not their fault, but I don't know. It seems like some players are getting injured very often. And I'm sorry, if you're not able to play multiple games in a row without getting injured, get out of our club. It's just not good enough. Top down, not good enough. And Yeah. Yeah, we could talk about the lineup. I mean, Fortune actually probably was one of the better players on the pitch, if not one of the best players on the pitch, and he got subbed off. Like it's unfathomable. And I understand, yes, Dilo was trying to change some stuff. And yeah, I mean, you know, Saba, he came on, didn't really affect too many things, but he is one of the players that does have fight. One of the players that, well, one of the many players that doesn't look like they really have fight. Alexei Miranchuk. How much he gets the ball and how much little he does with the ball is starting to really annoy a lot of fans. And yeah, at this point now as well, Brooks Lennon, I mean, that little walkabout, just driving into traffic, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he had options too. He could have passed. But instead, the death knell. And so, really no player is forgivable at this point now.
Yeah. I mean, even the stalwart, Brad Guzan, let almost a nutmeg by him today. Not a hard save right there. Very surprising.
Exactly. Right. Like, how he should have probably, tried to approach that chance was close his legs and, yeah, force the player to either, because I think he was anticipating a bottom right corner chance. Instead, he opened up his legs, and, yeah, it should have been either that or force him to chip him.
Yeah,
and
we gave two players for Philly that don't score a lot, like their goals. You know, first MLS regular season goals. Like, come on.
A homegrown, of course, it had to be.
Yeah,
a homegrown player scores his first goal of the season, and what was a really good goal, to be fair.
Yeah,
but the fact that he was unmarked in the box, it just further exemplifies the issues that we have defensively. And it's the urgency. There's a complete lack of urgency.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, at this point, yeah, the fervor from the early season buzz from Miguel Almiron returning, Manuel Atl coming in, the casuals are gone.
Completely wiped away. Yeah.
And at this point, they're probably driving away some of the diehards too, because I'm seeing on social media, people that have been there since day one. They're like, I shouldn't have renewed my season tickets.
Yeah.
Like, that's, yeah, top down. This club is diseased.
Yeah.
And right now, there's no cure.
Just think of, like, Joe Patrick's tweet tonight was just like, I don't think this team's even getting better. Like, they're not making improvements. If anything, they seem like they're getting worse. How is that possible? You think over time they'd get some gelling, some chemistry together, but it seems like they're getting even more disconnected. I mean, the fact that we've stopped scoring entirely from the run of play is just... What are we doing? It's an embarrassment when you tote around this $50 million number. Like, it is, again, Atlanta United makes the headlines in MLS. They're a talking point, once again. For instead of doing anything important or good, once again, for how freakingly, amazingly disappointing they are. It's wild.
Yeah, 12th place right now. -5 goal difference, and miles off of expectations. And fans have every bit of right to be upset. Fans have every right to pretty much feel like they were sold a dream, and in reality, it is a nightmare. Unfortunately, yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. Like, we have more road games coming up, and we know the history of this team right now on the road in the last half decade.
Well, you keep using the word team, and I'm going to take issue with that because, let's be real, this isn't a team. What this is a collection of individuals that have literally no belief in each other, no camaraderie, no, friendship. Like, it's just all like finger pointing, blaming, heads going down, zero mentality, no leaders. It's bereft of anything that even slightly resembles a team besides having 11 bodies on the field. I don't know how you get that. It's like hard to, like, I remember I said this, one of us said, or someone said this, like a week or so ago. It's like, you could get, like, before this team became this team, you could just assemble these players and have them play for the first time ever, and they probably do better than they do now. It's like the fact that they're playing on Atlanta United and stewing in that toxicity and that bad culture we have here, I evidently, it like degrades them. I mean, this is why I talk about in the article, like, players get here, they have a great start when they get here, and then it's like a season and a half later, they all drop precipitously. It's like clockwork. It's because that culture starts seeping in, man. I'm telling you, it's frustrating that it's like,
Yeah, and it's, I get your point that, not calling it a team, and you're not wrong, but it is one of these things where, it's a team that can't get their shit together. And unfortunately, yeah, I think something to the effect of, I don't know if it's solvable, because it's not something that, like, yeah, okay, if we have our full strength team, but how many games have we had that? We really don't. And we thought this team was going to be a little bit deeper, but yet you chop and change a little bit and the wheels completely come off. Mm-hmm. And you concede a goal to a 10-man team.
They look like we look like the 10-man team against them. That's how ridiculous it was. Like, Philly didn't look bothered.
They didn't look bothered. And it was pretty much Bartosz Slisz on the right, pretty much playing center back and defensive midfielder. I mean, it was just, Philly did exactly what they needed to do. Yeah. Just
wait for transition
let
opportunities.
Exactly. Let him pretty much get himself in trouble. Yeah. And he did. And he got caught in possession as well later on because he was too predictable. And it's just, some of these players aren't good enough, but also some of these players, they are what's the word? Basically, they're playing down.
Yeah.
And there's a word for it, and it's escaping me right now, but Nick, welcome in.
Come grieve with us to apparently the death of the season already.
I have to get the following words off my chest in the style of an analyst that we all love to hate. What are we doing?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's the phrase is down tools. We are down tooling.
Yeah.
I said the exact same thing at the All Stripes watch party that Mike has said on this stream already. It's a collection of players, not a team. Yep. To exactly the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I am pissed.
If you don't see it already,
pissed.
I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's obvious. I feel like everyone with eyes can see that. Go ahead, Nick.
I cannot believe that we got the benefit of a freaking red card and could not even capitalize on that.
Yeah, not even like look goal dangerous. Like, we didn't. at no point in this game where I was like, oh yeah, we're definitely going to score here. We're definitely going to score. We're really knocking on the door. Like, yeah, granted, we did have opportunities. Some things looked good. Right. But, like, I wouldn't, like, before we hit that post and you told me, like, what's going to happen next, I'm not going to say we're going to hit the post. You know what I mean?
Of course not.
So, like, yeah, we get, like, some fluky good stuff sometimes because we do have talented players that look good. But in no way, shape, or form is there a system that's delivering a product of goal-scoring opportunities regularly and in a way that's reliable. It's just not.
And there is this, too. It's like, yeah, we look anxious out there. We look like, a team that is snatching at opportunities. And how many shots were we trying to take from outside? I mean, it's just...
Yeah, because you couldn't get in. You couldn't breach the box.
Exactly. I get it. You're trying to at least muster up some chances, but man, like if you're just taking pot shots from distance, you're in trouble.
Mickey taking 2 shots from like 25, 30 yards away. I mean, that's the best we can do.
Yeah. So before we get into it a little bit further, I just want to go over the stats because the stats are interesting this game. So SofaScore has this at 71% possession from Atlanta United. 71% possession. This is the book on Atlanta United. Other teams, they said on the broadcast, come in to play Subaru Park against Philadelphia, and they park the bus and stand a chance. That's what they said, literally on the broadcast. Oh, look, Atlanta United came in here and tried to play with the ball. Boom. Look what happens. It always happens. It's always this. It's multiple coaches continue to do it. I don't know what it is. We just can't learn from this. And it's so damn frustrating to see over and over again. And 71-29. They had a 1.22 expected goals against our 0.86. We had 12 shots to their 10, which really didn't show from anything, obviously, except for the, off the woodwork was a pretty good one. Unfortunately, it didn't go in. Wouldn't have changed anything, but, there's that. Goalkeeper saves, they had 3. I mean, Andre Blake had an amazing instinctual, just point-blank save. So good. I mean, he always plays up to us, always. Corner kicks are basically the same. They had 11 fouls to our 6. A little better than the 20 that was hit against us last game. We had almost 3 times the amount of passes that they did. We had 631. They had 252. We had so many.
Yeah, at one
passes.
point they put up a statistic on the bug, 84% passing accuracy. I'm like, the hell is that? I mean, the numbers do not reflect the actual play.
Yeah.
That we're seeing on the field.
Yeah.
Because it's like the easy passes we connected on, but obviously anything of a slightly tougher pass didn't happen. We lost the ball consistently and in bad areas, and we just played into their hands. We just continually decided to play out from the back when they were pressing us extremely well, and we obviously do not have the technicians in order to play out from the back, and especially when you lose players in defense.
Yeah, like again, we always play out the back against teams like this and get absolutely demolished. I don't know how you can look at this and say, yeah, let's do that again. That makes sense. Let's try it again. Run it back. New York next time? Sure, let's do it again. Oh, Philadelphia? Let's do it. Sure, why not? I don't get it, man.
To paraphrase next week, Stewie Griffin, if it didn't work the first time, it didn't work the other 25 times.
Mm-hmm.
God.
Yeah. Is it a weasel?
But yeah, I shudder against Orlando City next week. If we decide to do something similar,
yep.
We're in front of a national television audience again.
Like,
the next 2 matches were
nothing
on Fox.
makes me think we're gonna try anything different. I mean, like, yeah, he did some formation changes, but like the way we play, it hasn't changed. It never changes. We never try anything new except for when we had Valentino. He's the only guy who ever tried to change things, and we saw a stark difference. I mean, there's other variables involved, but still, that was a very interesting piece of data. And also to conclude on the stats, by the way, Philadelphia's all 10 shots were in the box. We had 7 shots outside of the box. 6 were completely off target. It's just,
So,
I don't know, man.
and it's exactly why is they had a coordinated press, a high press that was effective, and they were able to throw men into the box so that they could actually generate chances inside the box. Whereas, we lull the other team to sleep and, essentially also the fans, and really don't generate any chances in the box. And yeah, it looks like what that is, where, yeah, you can't really create a really good chance. Did we have a really good chance in this match?
No.
Like,
I
can't remember one. Like, they were all half chances at best.
Yeah, like, there was like a couple of times of when the ball found its way to Latte Laugh's foot, and he just, like, maybe an in-prime Joseph Martinez could have just magically turned that into a goal, but, he had to, like, turn, half chance. Yeah, there wasn't that much he could do with it.
Yeah, the broadcaster was saying, he could have let Brooks Lennon come onto it. He was way too far. That didn't make any sense. Yeah, Latte Lad, when he turned and then tried to hit it on his right and skied it, it was like, no, that was unfortunately the only chance that he really had. And it was on his right. He's left-footed. It's just, yeah.
And Miggy's
wasn't a good
Can
chance.
we talk about one thing with Latte Lath? He has as many yellow cards as goals.
Yeah,
And he's out the
wild.
next match.
Right. We pointed that out for sure. All of us collectively, is that he was getting a lot of yellow cards, and it's the Yakumaki syndrome. It's the LGP syndrome. Like, 5 yellow cards in 9 matches is not good. Not good. I think it shows how much he's having to do defensively, and I think it's a little bit of that, where he feels like he's not really able to contribute if he's not, being involved in the play.
Yeah, because he's also not going to get the ball, and he's got to go get to it. Like, he has to help in the build-up.
He's trying to justify his $44 million payout.
He is trying to justify it, and rightfully so. But, I mean, it's just, this isn't the way we want him to do it. But he's just sitting there frustrated, just like all the other teams, the Laney Night teams of different seasons. Our top players are having to go all the way back to help build out the thing. And then we don't have the guys sitting at the very end waiting for the ball like a lot of other teams do. Because we can't stitch the defense to the midfield to the offense. It's just, like, impossible to do, apparently.
What is going on in practice? That's what I want to know. What are they doing?
It's a good question. Definitely not team building, that's for sure. Anyway, I'm going to get to some of these questions and comments on here because there's a few of them. Nick can help us out with some of these.
We hear you guys. We hear you out there.
Kyle Apgar says, who else thinks coach needs to change tactics or hit the road? Dallin Heyman says, this team needs a hard reset, get rid of everyone and start over. Kyle also says, the third goal was from everyone checking out. The Colonel says, that was pathetic. Who wants to tell Garth they not quite back? Dallin says, we are a bad team. Kyle says, great players, bad team. Emmanuel Gasper says, this was such a hard game to watch. The Colonel says, Emmanuel was easy for me. Just keep drinking bourbon. Strong says, thank you, Mr. Dyla. Kyle says, I think we are sending far too many players forward that it becomes a cluster in the attacking half. Fullbacks need to hang back along with one midfielder to help against the counters. Yeah, I mean, they did say in the broadcast, I did see that Lennon was actually pinned back quite often. And it didn't seem to help that much on defense, but we knew Brooks Lennon is not that much help on defense, even if he is back to help. Let's see. Kyle also says, we don't have Rob Valentino to fall back on if the coaching team or change happens. Clean Clips 917 says, Almern is worthless. What a waste of a TP slot. Strong says, thank you, Mr. Lagerway. Clean Clips also says, fire Dyla, bring Valentino back tomorrow. Justin Fulnoy says, I am so tired of the excuses from this team. I'm going to pause there. Do you have any thoughts on any of those comments?
No, I don't have any thoughts on any of them.
AJ,
a lot of them are close to accurate right now. I feel similarly I mean, I don't think Valentino comes back. That's the one I disagree with. I mean, that ship has sailed, and
Yeah.
fans, get over it. He's not coming back. I mean,
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think it would be a strange look from the front office. Go tail between their legs, come crawling back to him. I think that would be weird.
I do think Lagerwey has to sit down with Dyla and get Henderson back in the country from wherever he is, and a conversation has to be had. Now, what is happening here?
Yeah.
This is pathetic performance. What is going on? How do we fix this?
Yeah, it's as far as Dyla out, it's not gonna happen.
That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Way too early. But as far as a conversation between Chris Henderson, who was apparently at the Barca game today, and and Dyla, and Lagerwey, they all need to have a powwow and figure out how they actually want to move forward, because they said they were on the same page in the off season. I mean, from
Are they really?
what it actually seems like, when it actually happened, it seemed like some hires were made, and a few conversations were had, but none in person and not in depth, and definitely not massive conversations and discussions about how we actually need to move forward. It seems like we have the monetary kind of weight to push around like we always do, but as far as actual tangible things that any fan can see that's moving us forward, we're going backwards. And unfortunately, I'm not so sure that the goodwill from the fans is going to continue. And that's very scary, because I've said this before, not last year, definitely probably the year before that, is that, okay, you have fans that, if they love the team, great. If they hate the team, that's also pretty okay, because that's not the opposite end of the spectrum. But when it gets to indifference, which again, if you lose all your casual fans, which we're on the brink of, and if you lose your fervent, diehard fans, you're in fucking trouble.
Absolutely.
All right, how about these two comments from Manuel and Justin saying Moranchuk has to go and Brooks needs to go.
I don't disagree on Lennon right now. Like, I'm not really seeing a net pop anymore. It's we're just spamming crosses from the right side right now, and not really doing much. It's he's got 39 assists, but most of them have been on bad teams.
Yeah.
So you can stat pad all you want, but unfortunately, I want a player that can defend at right back first, and then, okay, if you get some assists, some goals, great. But you have to defend not only your player, but also the badge. And I don't know. I don't see him playing for the club right now.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have made that run if he was playing for the club. Like, that run that gave away the third goal, that's a selfish bit of play. That's a overestimation of your abilities type of play. Like, when Brooks Lennon, have you ever beaten 3 players on the dribble in traffic? It's outrageous.
Yeah. I mean, it's that.
It is about the soccer equivalent of trying to stop Michael Jordan from dunking a basketball.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, when has he done that? He hasn't done that. He's not that kind of guy. But it stems from this, like, this feeling of they can't get anything done. So they feel like someone has to take the game and just do something, make it happen. And bro, you're not that guy. It's not going to work for you. Unfortunately, it's not working for us any other way either. But I get the sentiment of like, maybe if I just do something, it'll liven up everyone else, or I get lucky and score, and then all of a sudden things change. Okay, but it's when you're sacrificing a better play to do that, that's not the way to go about it.
Yeah, you gotta stay with the basics. And yes, I know we call for that, like, you know, a lot, where hey, players need to take the game by the scruff of the neck. But Lennon, you ain't him, unfortunately. And yeah, you know, if you're trying to be press resistant in the middle of the park, it's not your game.
Yeah.
Stay with your game, which unfortunately he has. And it's just, yeah, it's frustrating for a lot of fans. He's not the one to be fully picked on, though, but he is one of them today.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like top down, like it's 100% not good enough. And from Guzan to Emmanuel Atl, it really is like all 11 players, all 18 players, coaching staff, front office need to have a hard look in the mirror and figure out how to not embarrass themselves.
Yeah.
Because right now they're not only embarrassing themselves, they're embarrassing the club, they're embarrassing the fans, and it's going to be really difficult to see how fans are going to continue to trickle into the stadium.
Yeah,
like it's just.
I'll tell you all this from a different perspective that plays right into this, and I'm not going to go into details for reasons of committees I'm on, but it's becoming not fun.
Yeah.
To try and drum up support for this club. It's becoming not fun, and it's becoming a burden, and that is a problem.
Yeah.
A symptom
100%.
of a bigger problem going on here.
Yeah. Because it's that. It's like it's not the fans' responsibility to create more fans, to garner more interest in the club. It's not the fans' responsibility. The club needs to figure that out for themselves, because that's really the crux of it. It starts with the play, unfortunately. Like when your ethos is that you're kings of the South, that you're royalty, that you're this behemoth that throws their weight around, and you can't back it up. Like you gotta reframe. Like we probably need to have a culture reset.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. That's really tough to do too. That's, of all the problems you can have, that's a really hard one to fix. That's really
You're
sucks.
already 9 games into a season, absolutely.
Yeah. Because it's like we're the lovable losers now. Like we are a club. Lovable, yeah. Well, we still have a lot of fans. We still got, like basically more fans that come to games, that pay for the games than anybody else. So yeah, we're the Chicago Cubs of MLS, and hopefully there's not 100 years of that type of pain.
Man.
Oof. Yeah. But something I did want to say. Oh yeah, go ahead, Nick. Go for it.
No. I was going to say there was an old joke somewhere of a guy that was an elder, and he said that I want X team to be the pallbearers at my funeral so they can let me down one last time.
That's all right. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
We're
I've
getting to
heard
there.
that
We're
too.
getting there. We're getting there. We're
Ugh.
going in that direction.
Yeah, it's like at least we have the one win under our belt, and then it's at least we have that, so that's fun. But that's to not get anything else is just like what's worse, right? It's like love and loss, or never having loved at all. You know, championship or not, or never having championshiped at all. Atlanta United's front office was very confident in the roster they built coming into the season, Joe Patrick said in a tweet. I want to talk about that for a second. That confidence, this is something that we talked about before, AJ, and I'll bring it up again. Atlanta United's front office, when they brought in Giakoumakis, it was this idea that he'd be here for a long time. It seemed like that was what everyone was confident in. The team itself of that 2024 season seemed like they were very confident that this team could go the distance with who they had and everything. Clearly that wasn't the case. And at the time, I had pointed out the fact that they were, talking about how, looking at it retroactively, looking back at it as like a post-mortem, going, yeah, we didn't really see that coming, they said. They literally said that. And here we are again with them coming out before the season. We're very confident in this roster. Top 4 placings, etc., etc. And like Joe Patrick said, they couldn't look any worse now. So my question is Garth not able to see some things that are just so glaringly, maybe not obvious in Yorgos' case, but I mean, in that 2024 season's case wasn't glaringly obvious. But I mean, there are some things that I feel like you should have some knowledge of, some, forethought to be like, I guess what I'm trying to say is you shouldn't be surprised by these things. These things shouldn't be blindsiding you. You shouldn't be like, I'm so confident in this new team. Like, last place. Like, what is happening? You know what I mean? And this is the second time it's happened. The second time. I'm starting to see a pattern. I'm starting to lose faith in Garth Lagerwey and what the club is saying. When they say these things, we're confident X, Y, and Z. And then all of a sudden, they lay an egg of a season so far. Yeah, if they turn this around, that's great and all. However, I'm pretty sure Garth didn't see us starting this season having the literal worst start to any season of all time. So I repeat, why isn't he seeing these things coming? How are these things surprising him? We're not supposed to be the club that has this issue.
Well, it's probably because there's a little bit of sorry, I guess we're picking on Brooks Lennon tonight. There's probably a little bit of Lennonism here. In that, maybe there is a case of thinking we're too good than we actually are. And Garth Lagerwey, I mean, maybe he's getting found out, unfortunately. And
I don't want
2
that to
seasons
be
in
the
a row.
case, man. It sucks.
I really don't. But it's 2 seasons in a row where you underperformed your expectations hard.
Big time.
And yeah, we might be able to salvage the season and have some feel-good moments. But the reality is your actual mission statement and your goals and your expectations all not met.
Yeah. So the question is this:
Not hitting your
did he like, in his mind of mind, did he see this coming and was like, well, I still have to put out the corporate line of we're confident this is the year we're gonna do great, blah blah blah, so he's just pretty much lying to get butts in seats, etc., corporate whatever. I'm not gonna really blame him for that. That's what CEOs are supposed to do. But or was he just completely blindsided? It worries me either way. So thoughts on that, Nick?
Yeah.
Looking at it from the perspective of, if I'm a manager of a corporation, for example, and I have people underperforming their tasks, their duties, committing errors right and left. I work in a television hub, and if we make mistakes, hundreds of thousands of people see them and the station loses money. If I have people pressing buttons wrong and making mistakes, they get written up and or fired eventually if they keep making mistakes. Where's that kind of accountability here? Because if you continue to make these decisions on bad hires, bad players, bad whatever, the accountability has to be there too. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a sports franchise that is supposed to A, win games, B, win championships, C, get fans in the seats. And if you continue to put this kind of product on the field, that ain't going to happen. Bottom line, that is not going to happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So-
it's one of these things. Yeah, go ahead. Nick. I didn't.
Well, I was just going to wrap and say that you have to go to the top. It starts at the top. And the one person who came out of last season in the whole hierarchy of things at the top from last season, this season was Garth. And I think Uncle Arthur has to start looking at Garth. Be quite honest.
I'm
'Cause he's the
losing
one who
faith, man.
picked everyone.
I'm losing faith, man. It's the fact that either he's like lying about it or he didn't see it coming. Either one of those,
And
I
to
don't
answer-
like.
Yeah, like to answer your question, man, that's what, like, the Leninism is what it is. Like, he, so far, in his Atlanta United tenure, he has proven, unfortunately, that he is not good enough. That he has blind spots, and unfortunately, I don't think he's lying to us, because we've seen that he holds himself accountable.
Yeah.
At least on the documentaries. Now, the problem is that, yeah, this has been happening time and time again. And to Nick's point, because this is what I was going to say as well, it's like, if we want to be the evil empire, the Yankees of MLS, where we outspend everybody. Well, George Steinbrenner and his family, they were ruthless. And they
were.
fired anybody that was not doing a good enough job.
Billy Martin
That's
multiple times.
what the culture was. And if we're going to be a big spending team that outspends everybody, well, Arthur Blank, unfortunately, needs to be more ruthless. And if you can't cut it in a small amount of time, unfortunately, you have to go. And so, you know, unfortunately, that's not his history. We've seen it with Falcons.
Yes,
We've
I
seen
was
it
about
with
to
Atlanta
say.
United as well. So it's just, you know, and there's a lot of angst with a lot of the other Atlanta sports right now as well, because the Hawks.
I was about to
unfortunately,
mention
didn't
that
make the
too.
Oh yeah.
playoff. Yeah, and then the Braves, of course, right now, what was it, 6-13? Probably. I don't even know what today's scoreline was, but yeah, you know, it's it kind of sucks being an Atlanta fan of sports right now. And you know,
Braves
I know
won
there's
today,
not
so there's that.
The Georgia
Okay,
Swarm made the
7-13.
playoffs.
right. But this is the thing: the playoffs are not good enough.
Yeah.
Not for the Braves. The Hawks, okay, maybe. But for Atlanta United, no slight to them. We know. Unfortunately, the Atlanta Hawks have been mediocre for the entirety of their existence, and it sucks because I love basketball, but it is extremely difficult to watch the Hawks. But it's also getting extremely difficult to watch Atlanta United, and that needs to change, because it can change. But again, it starts with the top. So
If this is coming from the people who are covering it on a regular basis, wake the fuck up.
yep.
All right, Nick. Final thoughts on this match and the season. It feels like.
We are only 9 games into this season, and we play what? 36 matches? Is that the number? 34. Whatever. I mean, We're 1/4 of the way through the season right now. It feels like it's been 3 seasons and 9 games. It has just been that bad. I do not know what we're going to see in Orlando in front of a national television audience next week. It is going to take every strong bone in my body to get to my watch party, which I will anyway. Don't worry, All Stripes, if you're watching this. I will be there. Poor Tap Room on the Beltline next Saturday, which is where I was tonight.
At least you can be with good people and commiserate, you know?
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm about to make a really crass joke, and I'm going to say, fuck it, why not? Yeah, it's every bone in your body. Yeah, there won't be 207. Definitely only 206. Go on.
Oh, that really is all I have to say. Is that I'm a 17 for life here, and I will do my best to continue to I will do what I can to defend the badge, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I will tell you this in parting is that of course, you know, I went to the Independent Supporter Conference Council Conference last January, and I met the president of the Sons of Ben there, and struck up a friendship, you know. And I mentioned to him on Blue Sky earlier today that I just said, "Oh, hi there," and tagged him. He said, "Howdy" back. And I posted the following to him about an hour ago. I don't know what showed up to play your team, but that wasn't a team. It's a whole shitload of problems. Our woeful season continues. And that's where I leave it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well said, Nick. Well said. All right, bud. We'll talk to you later. Yeah, I wish it'd be more positive, our conversations, but goddamn, here it is what it is, right?
I love all y'all, always and forever. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. Have a good one. All right, so, man, we have a lot of comments. So, while we're waiting for...
And I think this needs to be said, too, though, is that, you know, like Nick said, we are 17s for life. We're not abandoning the club.
Yeah.
What's the important thing is that we want to see the change that needs to happen in order for us to be in the spots that we are expecting, because the club is espousing that they want to be in those areas.
Yeah, and we have a star above the logo, above the crest on the jersey. That's the standard that we've set. We need to continue to rise to that, it's not even that we're not it's not that we aren't, like, we're just not even trying. That's really what it comes down to. It doesn't appear that we're trying. We are signing the players. We are doing X, Y, and Z. But when it comes down to it, it is as if we aren't trying. That's what's the frustrating part. Like, what is the difference between a team that doesn't give a shit, has absolutely zero ambition, and is just coasting, and us in terms of placements? Practically nothing. That's the sad part.
And that's really truly what it is that you don't have players fighting for the badge.
I mean, it's
you have.
Oh man,
it's really what it comes down to. Because basically, we have hired mercenaries.
Yeah.
On high wages, on basically, they're looking for the paycheck versus actually wanting to win.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Yeah, I don't know how you screen for genuinely want to play for the club versus not. That's like, because these people apparently sell the club a real good story about, you know, oh yeah, I want to be here, I want to blah 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 blah, and then these, you know, season after season of this type of stuff. So it's I don't know how you do that. So it's not by buying the highest priced players possible. It's essentially, there's only so many Messis, but yes, you have players that, yes, you can bring in that, you know, as far as like team players,
yes, you can bring those type of guys that, will try to win no matter what. They hate losing. But you also have to have somewhat of a team culture of guys that want to play for Atl United. Have only thought about playing for Atl United, which of course we're a very young side.
Right.
But you have homegrowns. You have guys that obviously grew up supporting the club. They technically are childhood fans of the club.
Yeah, man. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Anyway, Niall, help us out. Talk us down, man. Like, we're on the ledge right now. Give us a rope. Give us something to hold on to. How are you doing? Hopefully you're doing well. And I know this was a really, really tough game to watch, but help us break it down.
I mean, if you're asking for something to hold on to, I got nothing. I mean,
you're out here on the limb with us, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was a shit show. Let's be honest. I had zero hopes of us getting a win today at all, but I would like the performance just as a whole was just incredibly awful. The first goal, the defending was just so bad. Like just the fact that like we couldn't just clear the ball for one damn second.
Yeah, they were in our box for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's like the ball kept like just basically bouncing off people, and then it landed to Caven Sullivan, who of course just like placed it perfectly. Second goal, Brooks Lennon just held onto the ball for way too long, and then just that second goal happened, and then the Sleesh, of course, with the mistake for the third goal as well. This probably for me was his worst performance in an Atl United shirt. I think I can safely say that. I mean, he was just really bad, giving away balls all over the place.
They all were too. What was that? What do you ascribe that to, Niall? Because I saw tonight so many passes that just unforced errors. Just guys will they have the time to pick out a pass or whatever, and they just pass it straight to a Philadelphia player. I saw Stian Gregerson pass it to a Philadelphia player, and then the Philadelphia player, whatever does, they lose the ball, and then it gets to Tristan Mayumba. Immediately, what does he do? Passes it directly to a Philadelphia player. Like, what are we do? Like, it happens so often. I just don't get it. Like, how does... They don't even wear the same color shirt, for crying out loud.
Hold on. I want to give Philadelphia Union the credit that they deserve here, because they pressed extremely well and they set traps. Exactly. That's exactly what happened. Is that, you allow Stian Gregerson time on the ball. You allow Bartosz Szlisz time on the ball, because they're not good enough. They're not technicians on the ball in this league good enough to break down a team. And so they will give it away. And so they will basically, there's players that are, shadow marking essentially some of these other players before they realize, I probably shouldn't have passed that ball to them, because they're going to get jumped on. Or yes, they pass it right to them because they don't have any other options, because basically our team is not giving enough options for our build-up to happen. But no.
Yeah, that's what he pretty much took the words out of my mouth. That's what I was going to say as well. I thought Philadelphia pressed really well, and to be honest, like anytime Atlanta's played against Philadelphia in the past couple of years, that's been often the case, where Atlanta just struggles to build out the press, and Philadelphia just has success kind of just being able to put pressure on the ball. Basically, if you're going to play from the back with the way that Philadelphia presses, you have to be able to do it at a consistently good rate. But Atlanta obviously was not able to do that. They weren't able to make clean passes whatsoever. There wasn't enough support for the buildup as well, so that obviously kind of plays into Philly's advantage.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I know Philadelphia pressed the hell out of us, and they did it really well. Those two passes I was talking about in particular were not the result of that. What I think actually happened, I'll just give it 2 seconds to think, is that at this point in time, at least, our team was flustered. They were shook. I think that was quite clear. And because of that,
Yep.
they started making silly errors that normally they wouldn't do. They were panicked, rushed, even though, that's why I called them unforced, because you didn't have to make that pass to clearly the wrong person. You could have taken your time, did something else, whatever, and it happened anyway. So I think that they were nervous. The anxiety got to a lot of them. They felt like, they were in an unavoidable narrative that was being weaved that they just couldn't stop. Like, we're losing this game. We cannot stop it from happening. I'm trying, but it's like, it's an impossibility. And that mentality sinks in, and you start making silly decisions that you normally wouldn't do. I've been there. I've done that in sports as well. You start getting shook, and all of a sudden you're making decisions you never would have normally made. So, that's what I think for those harebrained ones. To your point, absolutely, give plaudits to Philadelphia, because they like I was telling everyone I was at this small watch party with, the book is out on Atlanta United on how to play them. Just do this. This always works. It always works, because we will always do the same thing unless it's Rob Valentino. So,
yeah, I mean, as far as the the book on Atlanta United, yeah, because I haven't spoken on that yet. It's like Atlanta United. Obviously, we have found out that yes, we can have success if we play a different way on the road, but instead, we like to bang our head against the wall continually.
71% possession. I can't get over that number.
Well, obviously, as well. Okay. Aided by Philly going to 10 men with the red card. But before that, yeah, we still had the majority of the possession. It was about 55 to 45. And I think it's a stark difference of what they did with the ball and what we did with the ball. And
first half,
like I mentioned,
66% possession.
Was it 66? Yeah. At one point, I think it was closer, but...
Yeah, was it minute 3?
Who knows? But either way, yeah. After they scored, they didn't really care about getting the ball. It was pretty much like, yeah, have it. Because we know you're not going to do anything.
Yeah, and they know that we have to come out and play now. And it's just so much easier to tear apart a team that way.
Exactly. And again, it's that. We don't start off hot enough and are actually putting the ball in the back of the net to actually put that pressure. And then if we do, we also are pretty soft defensively. That, yeah, we just allow them right back into the game anyway. And I think it starts with that. We are not strong enough defensively, or also not pressing together as a team. Again, it's another year of that.
Yeah.
Where it's just really easy to slice through us. But now, yeah, go on.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not gonna score that many goals, I mean, then you have to be able to be defensively sound, and we're not right now capable of doing any of those things. So it's kind of a very, very much a bad combo paired with each other. Yeah.
All right, Niall, strap in and take a little journey with us. We're going to go through some of these comments while we got you here. There's a lot of them.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to speed a little bit through it. Kyle says...
you don't have to read them all, man.
Yeah, I know. I do it for the fans. Kyle Apicard says, we're Manchester United of the MLS. Something is toxic in the club. Justin Fulroy says, I think Dylas should be out when we make it to the summer. Fabian Perez says the best we get is 7th this season, and maybe that's being optimistic. Sam R says 100% getting worse. Justin Flory says, yeah, that's right. Fabian says bring back Rob. Clean Clip says they're getting worse because the coach keeps switching positions, and Moranchuk must have some inappropriate photos of Garth with some little kids. Jesus Christ. Yeah, not sure about that. Victory 3.0 says, AJ and Mike, welcome to reality. Bro, we've been living in it for years now.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Fabian Perez
Welcome
says
to-
we are the you know the director of fun and games on SS Reality right now. We understand. Fabian Perez says sell Moranchuk. T slows the game down significantly. He's like a sloth on the ball. Connor Thompson says fire Rooney and Garth. Don't care. Fire them. Justin Flory says they're gonna have to buy out a player in the summertime to be able to do anything to switch things up. That's true. We don't have a lot of space to do anything over the summer, which
We
is
don't have
unfortunate.
space to do that though. So I mean, you can want to buy out a player, but do we really have the space for that? I mean, we're already buying out part of Etienne's contract. So
Dallin Hammond says completely sell this team and start with a clean slate. Fabian says I really hoping we sign a defender right now, even if that's probably not going to happen. Force Guzan to retire. Cohen needs to play. The Ronnie roar has been reduced to the Ronnie whimper. Who are the ones that aren't good enough, AJ? I forget which one he was talking about. Oh, I guess the player. He's just asking in general. Who are the ones that are not good enough to play on the team? Do you want to answer that, AJ, or no?
I don't think I need to be comprehensive here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
I think it's
you know,
it's
there's-
self-explanatory in my opinion. Fabian Perez says, without a miracle comeback win versus New York City, we would have 6 points and 9 instead of 9. Clean Clips, there's everyone but ELL and Amador. I mean, I said tonight, Amador can be a piece that sticks around, and I would be okay with that. Let's see. I'm going to look for some specific like talking points or questions that we could go after. Because a lot of this is just, and I appreciate you guys being cathartic with us, just lashing out because of the frustration that's built up. I get it. We gave a shorthanded goal. Garth thinks this is 2010 MLS. We would be second from the bottom of the Eastern Conference without the comeback win in New York City. I feel Lennon is way off his previous years. Cross is consistently missing, losing duels, and always looks out of position. Brian Diefenbach says, imagine the 4 points we got from own goals. Ooh. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lennon coughs off the ball. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, we've had some luck. We've had some luck this season somehow. You know, in the first match as well. CF Montreal hit the crossbar. Let's not forget that. So, you know, that it could be still be worse. That's the crazy part. Is that yes, we're kind of at rock bottom, but it still could be worse.
Yeah. Ingest 100 says, I have never seen anything like this before. AJ, is this even fixable? Replacing players just does not matter. What is sad is the fact I'm not even mad. I just don't care anymore. Yeah, that's a sentiment I think a lot of fans are sharing.
Right. So as far as that question, I think I answered it with pretty much the Yankees talk earlier, which we need to be ruthless. If the player is not performing to a standard that on a base level, and if a staff member is not doing the things that put us over the top, it's not even just like average, because we're not average.
No.
We're not even average. Like we're a bad team. We've been a bad team for quite some time, unfortunately. And yes, luck finds its way in MLS. And yes, with the perfect amount of tactics that you can basically smash and grab, like last year in the playoffs against Messi, you can do some things because it's MLS. But if we were a Prem team, like it very well could be, yes, that we are the Manchester United of teams. And
We are
I
24
really
out of
never-
30 teams right now in this league.
Yeah, I never want to be Manchester United. Never want to be equated to that ever, except for maybe in the 90s and early 2000s with the trophies. But other than that, never.
All right, so let me read a couple more of these, and I'm going to pick one specifically for Niall to respond to. Honest question from Sam R. What position was Miggy supposed to be playing tonight?
I mean, right away, he was playing there. Like, at times, he was playing there. Whether he actually did it effectively, I mean, yeah, no. I mean, you know, it basically, yeah. Is he being dynamic enough? Probably not. But it's also, it's like, what were the instructions for him? Because
Cross the top of the
I
box
mean,
and take a shot from with your left.
yeah, like I don't think that was the actual instruction.
He did it enough
And,
times that it seems like it was.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's that. I think he's got the freedom from Ronnie Dyla, but yeah, I think there does need to be a little bit more structure. It's kind of like the how Pep Guardiola likes to structure his teams, right? I think there's a little bit of that, of course, that any team could really, I think, glean from, is that every member, every player on the team, up until the final third, you know, if you can do everything that the coach asks up until the final third, then you get the freedom in the final third. And it's that whole earning the right to play. And so if Miggy is the one that stays out wide, and then, you know, in the final third, he has the freedom to roam, great. But right now, he's got the freedom to roam everywhere. And I don't know if that's the actual solution and the best way to utilize Miggy and all of that. Because it seems like almost at times, almost all the players have fluidity to be wherever they want to be. And it's not a really good recipe for success, because these players don't really know where they need to be in order to help us move up the pitch in the final third if we want to play with possession.
Yeah.
But if we're going to play, if we're going to press from the front, okay, it's a whole different story. You know, if we're going to, like, gag and press, then yeah, it'd be a different story. Yes, there's still structure in that too, though. Like, it just seems like we're a structureless team that doesn't really believe in the coach a little bit right now. And yeah, I mean, so far, unfortunately, it kind of seems like he's grasping at straws a little bit, because yeah, the injuries aside, did it really look that good with, you know, the changes that he made? It kind of looked more of the same, unfortunately. And maybe it's some players that don't deserve to be in the 11 because they, one, were not listening to the coach. So, okay, I can maybe understand that. But if you look at the squad, Silva, Mascara, not injured, but they were not selected. Very fascinating.
Yeah. Niall, do you have any comments on that before I move on to something?
I mean, part of it's like, I feel like part of like, it's like with sort of the lineup is like, you got to try something at some point.
Yeah.
You know, things aren't working. So at some point, like, you know, people want you to try something, or you're going to have to try something at some point. I thought Saba not being part of the lineup was interesting. And I thought Shande and Mascara not getting time as well was interesting. But I did think that Jay Fortune on the wing he did, like, for a player that, like, has never played in that position before, I thought he did a decent.
Yeah.
And I was even kind of questioning why he got taken off, because I thought he was probably the best player on the night. So yeah, definitely like echoing some of the sentiments, but at the same time, like when you're not performing, you're gonna have to make some of those tough decisions. So
yeah, and that's the thing. It's like formation, player, selection, all that. That's not really the important bit about this.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
It's dial a ball not working. That's the crux of it. And like, yeah, it's early in his tenure here, but I mean, still, it's like
that's the thing.
the main
Valentino ball is like the only thing that has ever worked to a degree.
Yeah, besides Tata.
Right. Yeah. I'm just talking about since we've been. Yeah, because like we have a clean slate of players, so there's
Right. Because and even to look at it from Frank de Boer, like Frank de Boer ball pretty much didn't work until there was a mutant. So ultimately, it's like, yeah, it really is like only 2 coaches in our history with what they wanted to play were actually able to implement. Yeah. Of the how many have we had at this point? Like 8 or 9, something like that. Could be. That's a lot. That's a lot for only 9 years in existence.
It is. So Drew says, just popping in to say this is terrible. We look like we're going backwards. Our midfield is absolute shite. We don't have any composers. He also says we need to figure it out now, or the fans have every right to root and ask for heads, coaches, and players alike. Kyle Apgar says, Coach should tell Latte Lat to stay near midfield. The amount of times I see him in our 18 is unacceptable for a striker. And give Hernandez some goes at right back because Lennon isn't making the cut. Drew Langston says, that run into the double coverage was absolute trash, but he can't back it up with anything else. If he could defend it, he would be a different story. All in on Lennon being gone. Cameron Alfadi, by the way, I see a lot of new people in chat tonight. Appreciate you guys being here, even if it is for unfortunate reasons. Cameron says, what should the fans do now? Drew Langston says, Sleesh has also been very disappointing. I mean, like, to be fair, pretty much everyone's been disappointing. Even, like I said in the beginning, the stalwart Brad Guzan, who has been very reliable for a long time now, made a pretty silly blunder tonight. Emmanuel Gasper says the fans should deliver a message during the next home game. Archie Lee says they need to play some of the twos players more. Drew also says this performance makes me embarrassed to have worn an ATL jersey in London. Sam R says this has to be the worst midfield we've ever assembled. Any thoughts on any of that, guys?
I don't know about if it's the worst midfield we've ever assembled.
We've had a midfield with Josetu, let me remind you.
Yeah,
go on.
Yeah, I just don't think this midfield's delivering like it should. Sleesh, for example, like, he doesn't perform consistently. Cleek, since he's come in, he's not been living up to the expectations. But yeah, I mean, it's like we've had worse midfields, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's that we've definitely had worse midfield. Josetu, I don't even think was probably even the worst midfielder that we've ever had. But he's there. He's not probably the worst, but we've had midfields of Josetu, Ibarra, and Sosa, and that's they have promise in terms of Sosa and Ibarra, but where they were and in their development, they weren't good enough, and that much is absolutely abundantly clear. But do we have an underperforming bunch that, like I said, are down tooling? I mean, it seems like it, because it like, I don't, if this is them trying, like, I shudder.
Yeah,
like it's like that's just not good enough, clearly. But it's on a level of not even like not good enough. This is like again the worst start in Atlanta United history,
and then they're just beating it too. You know what I mean? It's just getting worse as we go on.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, okay, we've had the worst start to the season. And then it's like the next game we lose again. It's like, and now we've just made it even worse. Like, Jesus Christ. Victory 3.0 says, guys, just believe Miggy, Alexi, and Sabo will come good. Just be patient. Cameron says, we need to boycott games now. I don't know if it's going to be. I know the whole argument of, a hit to revenue is the only thing that wakes up a corporate entity. I understand that argument, but I don't think it's realistic to tell fans to not go to the thing that they enjoy. If they do enjoy it, and because it's community and other things, there's a lot of intangibles that go into it as well. So I hesitate to say things like that. However, if you don't have the money, do not waste it on this team if you feel like you could use it for something else that could give you joy.
And okay, that's the important bit, is that if you have season tickets, it's already paid for. You're not gonna not go.
Yeah.
Like you'd be wasting your money. So no. But what you can do is not be in the stands. You can be in the stadium, but you send a message by not being in the stands. And when it looks empty, Arthur Blank's gonna realize. Arthur Blank's gonna see that. And that's how you send the message. Because, and I guess you could bring your own sack lunch. You can't really do that, obviously. But you could do that in a sense by withholding money in the stadium. Eat before you go. That will really send the message. But do we want that? Not really. We just want the team to play better.
Yeah.
And it's a very forgiving season. Like we've all realized and mentioned and all that. Like, there still is a possibility. There's obviously with last year, outside chances of making a miraculous run into the playoffs. So
you might run into Messi again. You never know.
At this rate, if we do make the playoffs,
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, if they come the number 1 seed. All right, guys, just so you know, we're going to be taking a little bit of a vote. I want to see a bunch of people in the chat saying either yes or no. We're thinking about bringing the wheel back starting this episode at the end of this episode. So if you want to see us do the Wheel of Misfortune, it's coming back. Let us know in the chat. Say, yes, we want to see it. So if we see enough of those, then maybe we'll do it tonight. All right, so let me get through a few more of these.
I think we could do a poll.
I don't need to do that. Unless I see no responses, then I'll do a poll. I think we can just do it enough with that. So Jesus Gutierrez says the Union are just the best. Found the Union fan who is living in delusion land. I don't think that they are the best this season. I don't have any indication that they are going to be like cup contenders just yet. I think they're good, but I don't know if they're, tops of the tops right now. I think Miami and Columbus have a lot to say about that still. Alex Davis says, years of losing more despite growing promises and thinking we have hit the lowest low has me despondent and numb. Can't give a team your heart once it has broken it for good. First game I saw was the championship and had been down. Wow, that's rough, man. That's the downhill from then. Who wants to buy 20 assorted United jerseys for $100,000? Tom says, where has Garth been? Why they haven't posted an interview with him on the Woodwork feed since February. Archie Lee, Arthur Blank got his indoor golf championship, so he's feeling good. That's true. Cameron says Elon Musk needs to look into the front office. Looking into it. That's right. Connor Watson says this stems deeper than Garth IMO. It's not just him, and it's been happening longer than Garth's tenure. I agree with that. That's true. That's why, read my piece about culture that I put up. Kyle says, when MomoCon will be more popular than Atlanta United for Memorial Day weekend, I'm not sure which one I would want to do when I'm back in Atlanta. That's an anime convention, by the way. Milan Turner says, go back and look at Garth's quote from when we were talking about the coaching search. The quote is too long for me to post, but he talked about the damage last year from getting a slow start. It's like, well, kind of doing the same thing, right? A1 Products More says, team has a new meaning Totally embarrassing and miserable. Yeah, okay. Drew also says, thank goodness the NHL playoffs have started so I have something else to watch instead of whatever this game was tonight. That's true. NHL playoffs are exciting to watch, so that's cool. Omar S. says, what the hell did I just turn on? Abandoning the club? What is this? A choice? You don't get a choice in choosing a club to support. No, I don't think anyone's saying abandon the club, and if they are, I think that's kind of silly. Tom says,
from the beginning, it's, there's a lot that has been said, and none of it has been saying abandoning the club.
Yeah, please don't clip chimp that, okay? It's like, this is a long form kind of conversation, not a just a one thing. So Tom says AMB wrote a book about how giving people time and support to fix their mistakes is his management philosophy. His leadership is incompatible with sports. Yeah, you're right. I did hear about that in some corporate institutions. You know, it's the idea of like, okay, you have a young employee. He makes a mistake at work, costs the company, let's say like $50,000 or something like that. His boss comes up to him. The kid goes, okay, I guess you're going to fire me now. And then the guy goes, why would I fire you? I just basically paid $50,000 to make sure you never make that mistake again. That's incredibly expensive training. I would never fire you for that now and hire someone else who may make that mistake again. So I see why some leadership in corporate would do something like that. But I am curious to know if that can carry over to the sports world like Tom suggested. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
I think there's certain positions you can do that in. But when it comes to the highest positions, I mean, we obviously let Carlos Bocanegra stay too long. And
agree.
You know, that probably poisoned the club in one of the most egregious ways that's still bearing fruit, unfortunately. Or, you know, I don't even know. It's fruit? Probably not fruit, but bearing rotten fruit. And it's one of those things. Yeah, it's like that position. I mean, I think it's also because, you know, Darren Eales and Carlos Bocanegra came up together in that sense. There was a lot of leeway, especially in the, year 2020, 2021, 2022. You know, it's just like those are moments that, yeah, I understand, you know, the context, but, you know, when they basically, it was pretty clear for a few years we weren't cutting it, and we were actually kind of cutting positions in a sense, or, you know, not making it the best run club in MLS, where, you know, basically like kind of the scouting positions, the video positions, the, you know, the beefing up of staff that we needed, that didn't happen. And I think that these are the things that you're seeing is that you make decisions that essentially, you know, aren't fully backed by any sort of multiple scouting points.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Alexei Miranchuk signing is perplexing on a lot of levels for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yep.
And I mean, it's a little bit indefensible. I don't really have any rationalizations for Miranchuk being signed at that point. I don't know about anybody else, but there's not really. Someone needs to turn off their mic. But either way.
Yeah, so I have a question for, this is a really interesting comment by Kyle Apgar. Appreciate the interesting topic, and I want to put this over to Niall for a second. He says, I wonder if the problem is we have a bunch of players from Europe who are stepping into a better paycheck, but away from higher competition. We need more players hungry to prove themselves to make it. Niall, do you think that has anything to do with it?
no. I mean, part of the players that we've signed from Europe are players that that have a point to prove. I mean, they've wanted to come to MLS from what I've heard, and they've wanted to come because this is the place where they'll start. Latte, I mean, he had England interest from like European clubs, obviously, but Atlanta was the one that gave him the offer and the one that gave him the chance to get a start. And like for all these other players as well, like Sleeve, Saba, those players weren't gonna, I don't think there was gonna be another opportunity for them to be in a European team. So those guys as well, they can get chances to be starters in Atlanta. So I don't necessarily think it's the paycheck thing, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah. No. Good retort to that. AJ, do you have any feelings?
I see what you're saying now. I don't know if I agree. There's some players that definitely are on way better wages than they would ever be in Europe. And Emmanuel Atl, he was already starting. He was revered by Middlesbrough fans. He arguably could have gotten to a Premier League team.
Yeah.
Would he have started week in, week out? He would have had to earn it. But, in the championship side, I mean, they were fighting for promotion. I mean, I think it has something to do with money.
But I think Latte's performing though, so I think
for sure.
Yeah. So I don't think that's
okay. So to make this even more interesting, remove Latte from the equation because I don't even think he's the one that's primarily that Common is even targeting.
Yeah, it's definitely not. If you look at Schleich, if you look at Gregerson, if you look at, let's see,
Silva.
Silva wasn't starting, so he was getting
right,
pretty much playing time. So that, in your argument, Niall, yes. But for Schleich, he was starting. Saba, he was starting. Gregerson, his team pretty much dissolved after he left. So that's a whole different story. But that's a more extenuating circumstance. But it's these players, I think, yes, good enough to start in some European sides. But, Schleich, he has been, penciled in as, a captain at times. But at the end of the day, it's there's too many brain dead moments from these players, unfortunately, that aren't helping their case. Mm-hmm. That they're fighting for the badge. And I mean, the player that I think you could say that for is Saba, but there's too many moments where he, unfortunately, he's proving himself not good enough in some moments.
Yeah. And
yes, fights really hard and was our leading goal scorer last year. But if you look at MLS on a whole, just not probably a DP level player that he was when he was brought in here.
Yeah.
And it makes sense though, because he's more of a DP light. So
right.
Is it a little harsh on him? Probably.
Yeah. And Niall, don't feel bad. Disagreeing with AJ, I do it all the time. It's actually really good for him. So LexZone6 says, attitude reflects leadership. That's all I got for the foreseeable future, guys. Atlanta sports has me emotionally exhausted. Omar says, we just have to accept that we're a mid-team and move on. It's not healthy for anyone's mental health to think otherwise. YoPro Adam, one of our mods in the Discord, says, we cannot be this bad while playing in the Benz. And that Goose nutmeg was diabolical. That's true. It was pretty... I was aghast when I saw it. Omar says, Guzan...
Yeah, we talked about it earlier.
Yeah. Guzan made me punch the TV like a nutmeg, really? And he spilled a basic save as well? Like, what the heck is going on? I mean, yeah, it's...
Man, R.I.P. your TV, man. Shit.
Yeah, seriously. Let's see. Gabriel Madrid says, it's been almost 4+ years in the same bullshit. I mean, look at the state of New England and Rapids, etc. Kyle Abgar says, on a bright side, we could be Leicester City, who won the league, then became the championship bobber team. Fabian Perez says, give Atl Utd 4 months, and if we are still asked, get rid of him and send him back to Qatar or wherever his last club was. Gabriel says, I really thought bringing in someone with true experience like Lagerwey along with the MLS experience, Dyla would be an answer, but so far it was the opposite. I know, again, I am really astonished with. I'm not so sure it's Ronnie's fault. I think he's faced with almost an unwinnable situation, in my opinion. I think the team is broken on a fundamental level, and even him as a coach, I'm not sure. You know, it's like you can bring a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. I feel like Ronnie Dyla feels a little bit like that right now. That's just my opinion about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, on that. So, are you going to blame the people that just got here? Or are you going to blame the people that have been running the show for a while?
Yeah, years of this being entrenched, this type of mentality and stuff too. So, anyway, any thoughts on that, Niall, before we move on?
No.
Okay. We're almost done with the questions and stuff on here, and I looked at it is a resounding amount of yeses for the wheel. So will be not one no. So that's pretty popular. One person even says, I don't even know what it is, but it sounds awesome. So that looks like fun. Gabriel Madrid says, there wasn't anything so special about him during his time. I vividly remember a lot of supporters shitting on him during his time. He's talking about Rossetto. Yeah, I was one of the people who was very upset with him. Klitsch as a DP player in DC United, and we let him sit on the bench. Maybe the Polish player needs to swap spots. I mean, he's been fighting illness and other things like that and injuries, so it's a little rough with him. Fabian says, nah, I forgot about Rossetto, bro. It's like, yeah, I don't want to remember him. Okay, Victory says, Niall, Mike won't accept criticism of Sleech, Alexi, Miggy, and Saba, so do not go there. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I don't know what
some
you're
people.
talking about.
Yeah, some people like to put words in our mouths, and
Yeah.
you know, you gotta get the whole context. Otherwise,
I'll criticize them right now. They're not playing anywhere good enough for this team at all. And if they don't ship up real quick, they're out of here. That's my opinion about it. I don't know how I could be more critical. Like,
yeah, that's been consistent with what you said too. So
yeah. All right, so let's see. We're pretty much right at the bottom of this. The Union are at best 5th place team in the Eastern Conference. Still better than Atlanta, unfortunately. Yeah, I know. Stormy Weather 21 says, too many players just running around doing cardio. Saba, the main one. Sleech is another one. He's got no clue. Kyle Apgar says these players moved from smaller European teams for a decent pay increase. Some were decent teams, but coming here is acknowledging they can't quite make the cut to grow into a bigger European club. Gabriel Madrid says, do y'all think the club puts more effort into their marketing ads to reel in new fans and potentially old supporters back into the club with the signing of Almiron and these high quality documentaries about the club? Like, I think they obviously put a lot of effort into that. And Miguel is, I mean, you know, if you take what you heard from Henderson, you know, Miguel fit the profile of what they were looking for, and then he also happened to be Miguel. So they're like, you know, double win. Why not pick him then? So I think that answers what, like, from the club's point of view, at least what they've said about that.
Yeah, I think people are picking on the wrong things here. All right, so like, you're ragging on the team for putting out good documentaries. Like,
I guess you're
saying
like
the baby out.
It's like if we were paying like nothing.
Yeah,
exactly. If we weren't paying squat for players, and we were putting all this money into this other stuff, I would be with you. But since we were putting our money where our mouth is in both areas, I don't really mind.
Yeah, the crux of it is this. Garth Lagerwey promises a lot and has under-delivered. That's the crux of it. The documentaries or signing Miggy as like a thing that's placating the fans and bringing in new fans. It's like, well, I mean, in a way, didn't you want him to do that? Like, majority of the fans wanted him to do that. So that's not in any way the problem. The problem is 2 through pretty much 25, the rest of the players, yeah, like, can we improve on them? Besides Emmanuel Atl, I mean, so far you can say yeah, and even Miggy, you can probably improve on him as well. I mean, it's just, unfortunately, if you're not performing for Atl United, I mean, time is a ticket.
Yeah. Jack Dickens says Guzan is 40 and he plays that way. I mean, I don't think Guzan's the problem here. He had a kind of not great night, but he has not been the problem. Fabian Perez says you should call it the Wheel of a Johnny Fortune instead of the Wheel of Misfortune. Stormy Weather says Slish, Lennon, Saba, Williams honestly need to go. They aren't good enough. Get Gressel. What happened with Julian Gressel anyway, bro? Barely plays these days. He isn't South American, that's why. Yo Pro answered that. Okay, so basically we are at the end of the comments. Thanks for slugging through with us, guys, and also Niall for being here. Appreciate your help with tackling some of these. What about generating a pipeline from Africa as a stepping stone to Europe? We haven't had any luck from South America. Depends what you mean. Depends what you mean about that.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that. But I think it's more this.
I've also heard the J League. I've heard various leagues to,
Sure.
You're missing out. You're missing out on this one league if you just focus this one league. I mean, we tried French Ligue 2, so...
There's plenty of talent everywhere, but I think it's also, again, you want players that want to play for the badge. And I think we've found that, yes, there are some players from our academy that can actually do the job. And so there's a bit of this where develop your guys and invest in also making your academy top notch. Because I think we can incorporate both, and in that sense you'll breed a different type of culture that is completely different from what we're seeing right now. Because what we're seeing right now, I mean, we could just continue to go that same route. It's just pick a different country, or you build up from your academy, and yes, you still have the money to actually, because that's not going to change. But what can change is, yes, blooding in those players that actually know what it means to play for Atl United.
Absolutely. Okay, so now that we've pretty much, I mean, you guys keep putting in comments and I love it. I appreciate it. But we do. It's a little past midnight. I don't want to keep Niall up too past his bedtime. But we will get to the wheel now. Niall, if you want to have any final thoughts, and then we'll let you go.
No.
All right, buddy. We appreciate you. We'll talk.
To my bedtime, apparently.
It was like 3 hours ago, right?
Yeah, it was 3 hours ago. I stayed up late for this. So.
You know,
Love it.
we love you. We appreciate you. And love that you were hanging out with us this late as a fellow Atlanta United masochist.
Appreciate you, man.
Okay.
Have a good rest of your night, man. See ya.
All right, so here we are. Let's see if I can get this on the screen to show everybody. And please work. You worked in the dry run rehearsal earlier, and now you're not. Of course, always how it is, right? OBS has a tempestuous way of doing whatever it wants to do. Let me see if and that works. And then we go here. Can that work? No. I will try it one more time, and then we will try something else. Oh, there it goes. It finally worked. Okay, so this is what we're doing, guys. Wheel of Misfortune is basically so we first start out by picking either me or AJ, and once that person is selected, they are the ones who will have to be, they will have the misfortune befallen upon them. So let's see who will be this time around. It's gonna be me to start things off on season 2 of the wheel, I guess. Great, awesome. Sounds good. All right, great. So we got, so this is what we got on the, let me see if everyone can see this. Good, everyone can. So we have on this wheel, Soccer Skills Challenge. This is me filming a video of myself doing some kind of soccer skills challenge. Probably not going to be great at it, and it's probably going to make me look relatively silly. Spicy Challenge. This is me filming myself eating something very, very spicy. I have a pretty good tolerance, so does AJ, but we put this on here to like really test ourselves. And you know, some people, a lot of people apparently, get a lot of sadistic enjoyment from watching that. So the next one is wearing a funny hat. So that is a seemingly harmless sounding option where the person in the next stream will have to wear a funny hat that's provided by one of our good friends, Bill Gluckman, in the mod in the chat. He has he assures us he has a assortment of strange hats that would look weird to wear. So that is apparently what that will be. And then the other one is push-ups. So I'm gonna, I guess if that lands on that, we'll film me doing as many push-ups as I physically am capable of doing before I fall over, which is not a super amount, but it's not nothing. So there's that. And then last one is a Patreon sponsored one from last time, like last season we did the wheel, doing a Yoda voice for 5 minutes during the episode or during the stream. So that I am hoping I don't get, because that's a challenge. That's a legit challenge to have to talk like Yoda for 5 whole minutes. So let's hope I don't get that. All right, here we go. Okay, good. Okay, I can do push-ups. We're doing push-ups. So next stream, you'll see me doing, well, I'll show you a video of a recording of me doing push-ups, as many as I can do. So there's that. That is going to make my chest and arms burn for the rest of the day, but it is what it is. All right, so that was that. Let's see, any more comments that we can get to before we get out of here? And by the way, if you guys want to be on the one of our Patreons, and you can have a vote and a say on what we put on the wheel and encourage the pain and sadism inflicted upon us, or embarrassment in the past. To give you an idea, if some of you are new about watching this, one of the times we had one of the Patreon slices was one of us yelling "I love Breck Shea" loud and in public. It landed on me. And I went on a Scarves and Spikes public podcast at the Hotel Signia before one of the games, and I yelled it out on that episode very loudly in front of the entire crowd of people there. So that was a good time. So this is the kind of idea of what we're doing with the wheel, and it's so happy it's back. Great, super great. Okay, so let's see. End of these comments here. Lennon72 pace, fake shot, cross blocked, lol. Gresselmania, Wheel of Miss Ajani Fortune. Funny enough, Gressel liked an Instagram comment I dropped on him about coming back to Atlanta United. Take that as you will. Yes, Gabriel, the barometer of what all the moves in MLS. Fabian says, supporting this team, making me want to have a bubble bath with a toaster. Blind me.
Jesus Christ.
Blind. That's almost as bad as it's like blind me with dental floss. Gabriel Madrid says, yeah, Lennon entire tenure here at Atlanta United has been off and on overall. Some days I love him, some days I don't. Stormy Weather says, I've never been a fan. He's the perfect rep for this era of mid Atlanta United. Everyone knows that what he's going to do. I hate when he gets the ball, to be honest. And then he gets in the way of the striker, like, bro, move. Gabrielle says, totally get that. Won't deny the fact that sometimes he does like show up whenever he wants to. Not sure how long we could get that up. Julian will try to hit a ball down the line. I've yet to see Brooks do that once. to slow pass, back pass, dribble, turnover, donation time every time he touches the rock. Fabian says, legends remember Lennon's goal scoring in 2023. The Stormy Weather says, I want to forget that goal. He's so mid. Kyle Apgar says, the toaster will bring the bubbles. YoPro says, let's blame the Easter Bunny at this point. That's a new one. Yeah, so basically, guys, that'll pretty much be it for us tonight. It's been a long one. It's been quite a post-mortem of this game and what feels like already the season. Hopefully we can turn it around, but there's not a lot of good indications that things are going to look any better, especially with this stretch of games coming up. Bit of a buzzsaw. We just hit the tip of it. Yeah, it's as someone in the chat said earlier, you feel a little despondent. I like that word. So anyway, AJ, final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to stop rooting for this club ever. It's just that, yeah, I mean, it's a dire moment. It's been dire years of this, and it just seems like deja vu. And that's the main bit, is that you want to see change that actually implements something that fans can get excited about, not false starts after false starts. And yeah, it ultimately comes down to, I mean, unfortunately, Garth Lagerwey has to figure out what to do right now, because he likely will just stay the course, but is it good enough? Will it keep the fan base engaged? That's really the millions-dollar question. So, and possibly billions, because, you know, it's possibly devaluing Arthur Blank's investment here. So, yeah, there's some real things that, you know, Arthur Blank has to actually assess and think about. But either way, that's that's it for us, guys. Thanks for sticking around till 12:11 a.m. on Saturday, and you guys are legends.
Yeah, but please like and subscribe to the channel. And also, I just wanted to also say, Gavin came in late into the chat tonight, one of our patrons. He says, I've seen enough. Make the call. Let's bring Pineda back.
Oh, wow. None of that. But anyway, yeah, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Good night.